Welcome back to our channel 217 Prince YT. Back in Korea, Jinho is watching the news that Hunter Woo Jin-chul has been promoted to chairman of the Hunters Association. Seeing this, she says, "They say the chairman was murdered, and now a handsome man has become the next chairman. This country is unstable, and so is the rest of the world." She looks at her mother, who is washing dishes, and hugs her from behind. Her mother says, "If you don't have anything better to do, could you please take out the trash?" Jinho replies, "I'm too lazy to do that." She tells her mother, "We should move to a new place." Her mother says, "I like this house." Jinho asks, "What is it that you like about this old apartment?" Changing the subject, her mother asks her to retrieve the clothes from the washer. As Jinho opens the door, she is shocked and starts to run, calling for her mother. Meanwhile, outside the Ajin Guild headquarters, reporters have gathered after hearing the news that Thomas Andre is inside the building. Jinho is trying to control his emotions, unsure what to do as both Thomas and Leonard Neerman, the strongest hunter in Germany, are present in the office. He thinks 2 hours have already passed since they arrived. "Where are you, Jin-Woo? Please pick up my calls." Meanwhile, Leonard is worried, thinking, Thomas Andre, the Goliath, is searching for Jin-Woo. Will I be able to meet him today? Thomas asks Jinho something, and Laura translates. Is Mr. Jin-Woo in the middle of a raid? It seems like he doesn't come to the office regularly. Jinho, with a shaky voice, replies, "Yes." As they are talking, Jin-Woo enters the office. Everyone is happy to see him. Jin-Woo notices Thomas sitting in the office and thinks, "I saw a mob of reporters outside the building. I guess Thomas really is here." Jinho, almost in tears, asks Jin-Woo where he was and why he wasn't picking up his calls. Looking at his clothes, he wonders what Jin-Woo was doing. Jin-Woo replies, "There have been a lot of gate outbreaks recently. I can't be lazy around at a time like this." Thomas approaches Jin-Woo, saying, "Long time no see." Jinho, observing, wonders, "Are these two going to fight inside the guild office?" Jin-Woo asks Thomas, "What brought you all the way to Korea?" Thomas tells him, "I promised you that we would grab a meal together once my arm fully heals." He tells Jin-Woo that he also brought a fantastic gift for him that piqued Jinwoo's interest, and Thomas says, "I'm happy to see Mr. Jin-Woo, looking forward to it," and asks if they should move to a more comfortable place, as the gift is a bit too dangerous to hand over in a place like this. Hearing that, Jin-Woo thinks, "Did he bring me a bomb?" While Jinho was thinking it's suspicious, it could be a trap. Jin-Woo asks the second man about his identity, and the man introduces himself as Leonard Neerman from Germany. Hearing that, Jin-Woo thinks he must be here to ask for a protection commission. Before he can say anything, Thomas cuts into their talk, saying, "Shall we get going?" Neerman prepares to go with them, and Thomas asks him, "Who are you to follow us?" He tells Thomas, "I've already waited more than 2 hours for Hunter Jin-Woo. I think I deserve a spot in this meeting." Thomas gets angry and tells him, "What we are about to talk about is top secret. It's not something someone like you can barge into." As they start to leave, Neerman thinks, "I've never been treated like this before." After some time, we see both of them sitting in a restaurant, enjoying a meal. Thomas signals to his men, saying, "You don't know how long I've been waiting for this moment," as he puts a case on the table. Jinwoo asks, "What is that?" And Thomas asks him if he can feel the item's power. He starts to open up the case, saying, "This is me showing my gratitude for my guild members." And Jin-Woo is at a loss for words after seeing the daggers. He asks if this was from the Kamish raid. Jin-Woo asks, "Isn't Kamish's corpse currently being kept by the Hunters Bureau?" Thomas tells him, back then, they decided to listen to what the US government told them, considering compliance could get us something more valuable than money. But Kamish's largest and sharpest tooth, the canine tooth, I had pulled out when he bit me. It was something I was allowed to keep as a souvenir, but the tooth was too short for it to be made into a sword, so I turned it into a dagger instead. Who knew that would come in useful? He tells Jin-Woo this was his gift. Looking at the dagger's stats, Jin-Woo is amazed that its attack power is 1500. Compared to the Demon King's dagger, his strongest weapon, it was on a whole other league, as the Demon Dagger's attack power was only 220. He starts to swing the weapon to get a feel for it, and Thomas tells him, "Even if I strengthen my defenses with my enhancement skills, they could still easily penetrate right through them." Looking at the weapon, Jin-Woo thinks, it definitely feels different than normal daggers, as it is reacting greatly to my magic power, almost as if it's greeting me. Everyone in the room is sweating just by sensing the mana being emitted by the weapon. Thomas asks Laura if she still thinks that the choice he made was a mistake. He asks Jin-Woo if he liked the present, and Jin-Woo asks if he can really take this for free. Thomas tells him, "What do you mean by free? I'm pretty sure this exchange is to my advantage. As compared to the lives of me and my guild mates, what I'm giving you is dirt cheap." As they were talking, both of them felt an overwhelming mana. Thomas asked Jin-Woo if he also felt that. They exited the building, and looking at something, Jin-Woo thought, could that be the true form of the magical energy that the doctor mentioned in his presentation? Thomas tells Jin-Woo, "I can't believe my eyes. It's the first time I've seen one this big," adding, "It's far bigger than the one Kamish jumped out of," saying maybe the world is trying to tell us that it has jumped out of our boundaries of common sense. The story shifts to the US, where Dr. Belzer is being questioned by some officials about the appearance of the gate in the skies of Korea. He tells the people present in the room, "I have been warning about the enormous amount of magical power that was gathering in the skies since a few days ago. The gate that appeared in the skies of Seoul is just the beginning, and they can expect to see more gates like this one appearing in the skies of many different countries." They ask his opinion on the matter, as he has been researching the gates and magical beasts for a very long time, and the doctor tells them to pray that this happening won't end as a tragedy. Back in Korea, Jin-Woo is on top of Kaisel in the air, thinking, "I can't enter the gate. It almost feels as if I'm blocked off by a wall. If it was a normal wall, I could have broken it down, but to think this is a wall that not even the awakened can pass through," and wonders if the being inside this gate is different than those that he has seen up until now. Looking down, he thinks, "My friends and family are under this gate, and I don't intend to let them pass by me so easily." As he was thinking, he received a call from Chairman Woo. Jin-Woo asks if he looked into the request he made. Chairman tells him they did, and he had requested the Hunters Bureau to scan the entire area with a satellite. Chairman tells Jin-Woo that no new gates appeared anywhere else in the world after the appearance of this massive gate. Woo tells Jin-Woo that they were planning to evacuate the civilians who live near the gate and asks Jin-Woo what he is planning to do. Fast forward to the next day. Jin-Woo, along with Baru, was sparring in the Hunter Association gymnasium. Baru was on the offensive, but was unable to land a single blow on Jin-Woo, as Jin-Woo had grown much stronger than the last time they fought. As Baru was striking Jin-Woo, he easily stopped his attack with his hand and asked him if he was really trying his hardest. He lets go of his hand, and Baru tells him, "I would never dare to do that." Hearing that, Jin-Woo tells him, "It's all right, as I just wanted to break a sweat a little bit," telling him he was the only one who could make him do so. After the talk, Jin-Woo tells Baru, "Let's start," and Baru prepares to attack. He leaps toward Jin-Woo, but Jin-Woo easily dodges the attack. He attacks Jin-Woo, and blocking it, Jin-Woo tells Baru, "You've become stronger after being promoted to the rank of commander." As they continue, Jin-Woo tells him, "Did you know that there can only be one commander in an army? And when Igris and Greed reach the general rank, it'll take no time for them to reach the commander rank. If you don't want to get your position taken by one of them, keep up the good work." That motivates Baru, and he starts to go all out against Jin-Woo as they fight. Jin-Woo thinks, it's still not enough. Even though Baru is the strongest unit in my shadow army, he is still not strong enough to fight against those guys. As Baru was about to land a blow, Jin-Woo grabs his arm and buries it in the ground. Baru, stuck, is unable to move, and Jin-Woo delivers a bone-crushing punch to his ribs, launching him into a wall. After recovering, Baru tells Jin-Woo, "I am continuously amazed by my king's mighty strength." Hearing that, Jin-Woo says, "I think I need to start blocking historical drama channels so you can't watch more." Jin-Woo thinks, now that the test is over, I should start cleaning this place up. He calls the chairman, telling him to hear him out without getting upset. He tells him, "I have around 300 ants that are great at doing labor work." The scene shifts to Thomas and Laura, as she was asking him if they were leaving for the US. Thomas tells her, "How could I leave behind something so big and beautiful?" Laura tells him, "It's big, but I don't know about beautiful." Thomas explains that everything that makes the heart flutter is defined as beautiful. The fire-breathing dragon, the enormous gate, Hunter Jinwoo's strength, They are all beautiful things. He tells her there is no gate back in the US anyway, so what's the point of going back? She tells him the Hunters Bureau is worried. He tells her, what a joke. There is no place safer than Hunter Jinwoo. Besides, if we don't stop it here, there will be nothing beyond. That's why I want to know whether this will become the last moment in human history or the new beginning. Fast forward to the next day. We see the people evacuating the area where the gate had appeared. Back in Jinwoo's home, we see Jinho asking her mother why they were not evacuating like everyone else. Her mother tells her, if this place is going to turn into a battlefield, wouldn't it be better for us to choose where we want to die? Plus, our house isn't even within the evacuation zone. Hearing that, Jinho gets angry, saying, I'll be a college student starting next year. I could drink whenever I want and enjoy college life while living alone. My life is just starting, so there is no way I'd want to die like this. Her mother tells her, that is a good point. She tells her, Jin-Woo will protect us, just like how your father protected us. The scene shifts back to Jin-Woo, who was sitting on top of a building looking at the gate, thinking, can I successfully close it without there being any casualties? He brings out his phone, thinking, who would I be spending my final moments with? The story shifts to Hunter Cha, who was practicing in a dojo. Her master tells her, I have been sensing hesitation from Miss Cha's sword recently. I'm worried that there is a fear building up inside you. As he was talking, Cha noticed her phone ringing. She goes to pick it up, and the master tells her, I think I'm speaking too much here. A hunter needs to pick up their calls. After hearing what the other person on the call told her, she tells the master, something has come up suddenly, so I think I need to get going now. After she leaves, the master stands there smiling, thinking, so that's how it is. Fast forward, we see Jin-Woo and Hunter Cha walking in an amusement park as the people around them were excited to see them both together. Jin-Woo comments, there are more people than I thought there would be, considering the current situation. Cha asks him if he likes places like these. He tells her, I don't especially like it, but I wanted to come at least once. Hearing that, Cha asks, why did you bring me to a place you've wanted to come at least once? Jin-Woo replies, because you're the only friend I have. Hearing that, Cha wonders what he was talking about, and Jin-Woo reminds her of the double dungeon, how she told the architect that they were friends. She asks him if he was listening, and Jin-Woo tells her, I have a really good hearing. She thinks, now that I think about it, 2 years have already passed since I've become a hunter, going out with such a light heart. How long has it been since that has happened? Looking at Jin-Woo, she thinks, something feels different whenever I'm with this person. I can sense a unique fragrance. While Jin-Woo was asking her if she wants to try everything in the park and smiling, she tells him, yes, I want to try everything. Seeing her like this, Jin-Woo thinks, I'm not the only one who wanted to come to this kind of place. But as they started to ride the rides in the park, nothing seemed fun. Even the fake monsters were afraid of them. After a while, they sat down to eat something, and Jin-Woo asks Cha if she wasn't having fun. She tells him, it's fun. Jin-Woo asks her, why didn't you scream even once? Thinking the rides are too slow for an S-rank hunter, he asks her, weren't the rides a little slow? And Cha agrees. He tells her, why don't we go ride something actually fun? We see Kaizel going through the clouds with Jin-Woo and Cha on top. Jin-Woo asks, how is it? Cha tells him, it's fast, high, and also beautiful. She asks, why did you go to an amusement park when you had something like this? Jin-Woo tells her, that amusement park was built on the gate my father disappeared in. So I've always wanted to go there at least once, saying I wanted to properly say goodbye. Cha thanks him, saying, you did nothing but show generosity to me. Jin-Woo tells her, I still have something I want to show you. Fast forward, both of them were sitting under the sky, looking at the stars as a shooting star streaked across the sky. Fast forward to the next day, a hunter was walking, thinking that monster of a gate will open in a few days. I'm a B rank now. I can't be letting my guard down. As he was walking, he bumps into someone and asks the person to stop. It was Rockin', and the man, not knowing who he was standing in front of, starts to shout. The people around them, thinking a fight was going on, start to gather around them. The man asks Rockin' to apologize for bumping into him, saying, I'm a B rank now, relatively high rank hunter. As he was screaming, Rockin opened his mouth and swallowed the man's head, biting it off. Seeing this, the hunters in the area were horrified. Rockin lets out a mana wave, destroying everything around him and throwing all the hunters in the air. He tells the hunters, "Listen closely. As of now, I will start hunting you. My teeth and nails will rip apart your weak skin and flesh," saying, "I'm the king of the beast monarch. Stop me if you dare." Back in the forest, Hunter Cha was drinking water from a lake as Jin-Woo approaches her, saying, "I know a hotel around this area that serves really good breakfast," and asks if she wants to go there to wash up and have a meal. He summons Kaisel, saying, "Let's go." Meanwhile, back in the Hunter Association, a person was informing Chairman Wu that there is a monster outside who is attacking all the hunters present in the area. Wu asks about the casualties, and the man tells him, "We are unable to confirm the exact number as of now." Hearing that, Wu thinks, "There should be at least a couple of hours until the dungeon break. I've already got my hands full with the gate, and some monster decided to show up." Wu asks about Jinwoo, and the man tells him, "We could not get a hold of him." After some time, a man informs Wu that a hunter who is able to face the monster has appeared. Wu asks if it was Jinwoo. The man tells him, "No, but he said he is a world-class hunter who just happened to be around the area." It was Leonard. As he stands in front of the monster, he thinks, if he can really do this, and wonders, perhaps the reason I stayed in Seoul was because I was fated to defeat that monster. As he was thinking, Thomas grabbed him by his head and pushed him back, saying, "You'll only get in my way." Back at the restaurant, Jinwoo was enjoying a meal with Hunter Cha as he receives a call from Wu, who was asking him where he has been, as they were not able to get a hold of him until now. Jinwoo tells him, "I was outside the service zone until now." He informs Jinwoo about the situation in the city, as a monster is running rampant in the middle of Seoul. Jinwoo asks how many enemies there are, and Wu tells him, there is only one. Hearing that, Jinwoo thinks, every hunter is gathered in Seoul right now. They should be on their edge in order to stop the dungeon break of the gigantic gate, and they are getting destroyed by a single magical beast that appeared out of nowhere. Wu tells him an entire guild that came across him was annihilated in an instant, and informs him that Thomas Andre is currently standing off against that beast. Jinwoo thinks it was impossible, as he placed his shadow soldier on Thomas and the hunters, instructing them to report back if even something ordinary happens. As he tries to communicate with the shadows, he notices the signal with the soldiers in Seoul is strangely faint. It's like if something is purposely making the signal weaker and wonders what was going on. He tells Hunter Cha that there is a problem in Korea right now. She asks if the dungeon break occurred, and Jinwoo tells her it's something else. He asks the chairman if the monster has a shadow. Meanwhile, Thomas instructs all the hunters to start rescuing the citizens. Looking at Rockin, he says, "A beast has gone rampant without knowing their place, and it's only right for a mad beast to be beaten to death." Both of them were emitting immense amounts of mana as the fight starts. Rockin attacks Thomas, but it had no effect on him, and Thomas throws a punch on Rockin's face, knocking him back. He tries to land another punch, but Rockin dodges and is about to strike Thomas but gets slammed to the ground instead. Hunter Choi had also arrived at the location and was asking how the situation was there. A hunter tells him they are still evacuating the people. He tells Choi that the Fiend Guild and the White Tiger Guild were both dispatched. Sensing the creature's mana, Choi thinks Thomas is fighting off against the mysterious magic beast, but this massive presence feels even worse than the one I felt during the Jeju Island raid, and wonders what kind of a monster the Goliath is fighting against. Back in the fight, Rockin was seen flying through the air and smashed into a building, and Thomas was standing there after delivering the punch. But that wasn't enough to keep Rockin down, and he jumps back towards Thomas, hitting him in his chest. The attack was powerful, but Thomas managed to stop it. Grabbing Rockin, he picks him up and slams him to the ground, thinking it was over, but Rockin kicks him in the face, launching him in the air. As Thomas lands on his feet, he prepares to use reinforcement. The scene shifts to the White Tigers Guild, who had arrived at the location. Hunter Beck instructs his members to be ready for anything, and as he was saying that, something flies by him, crashing into a building. As the dust settles, he sees it's the magic beast that has been reported to have appeared on the site. He turns towards Thomas, who had completely transformed. Thomas tells them to hurry and take cover. Looking at Rockin, Beck thinks it's definitely not a normal monster and thinks he should transform as well. But before he could do anything, he sees Rockin standing in front of him, and feeling its power, Beck is frozen in place. He thinks about the sixth sense of the animal that was telling him not to be recognized as prey. As Rockin walks by him, he thinks, I can't even make eye contact. Rockin, using his ability, lifts all of the cars around him in the air and throws them at Thomas. But he starts to feel something. It was Thomas who was pulling him towards himself. As Rockin gets close, he smashes him into the ground and continues to punch him while thinking, what is this feeling? The feeling of uneasiness is closing in on me. It doesn't feel like I'm going to win. As he was thinking, Rockin grabs his fist and starts to get back up, saying, to think a mere puppet of a fragment could be this powerful. He tells Thomas he has seen enough of his petty tricks. He asks Thomas if he was afraid and starts to attack him while all the hunters were watching the scene in horror. As he was doing that, Rockin notices something. He reaches out for Thomas's shadow as he had noticed Jinwoo's soldier. He pulls the ant out, saying, what are you doing hiding in the shadows? And smashes it, saying, you're in the way. He grabs Thomas by his neck, saying, shall we continue? Since you seem to be confident in your strength, why don't we have a little battle of strength? As the armor breaks, Rockin is stunned to see that it was empty. Thomas grabs him from the back, saying, who do you think you are, blabbering on so arrogantly, and breaks his neck. But he is shocked when Rockin recovers completely from that. He grabs Thomas by his face and slams him to the ground, saying, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm starting to feel hungry again. But before he could do anything, he gets hit by a mana attack. As he recovers, he sees it was Leonard who was telling him, I won't let you do as you please. Looking at Rockin, he thinks he's getting chills just by standing in front of him. Thomas, from the back, tells him to run or he will die. Leonard tells him he is well aware of that, but I'm still a hunter, after all. Thinking, I have no regret. Even if this will be my final moment in life, I will make this choice many times over. A proud death rather than a meaningless life. He looks at Rockin, telling himself he made the right choice over and over again. But as he sees him coming towards him, his expression changes and he says, I made the wrong choice. As he thought he was going to die, another beast came from the back, attacking Rockin. It was Kaisel, and as he disappears, Rockin notices something in the air. It was Jin-Woo, who kicks him straight on his head, burying him in the ground. He instructs Leonard to take Thomas to a safe place while Rockin starts to get back up from the rubble, saying, it's true I can smell the shadow guy from that human. Looking at him, Jinwoo thinks his killing intent is quite intense, and on top of that, he isn't the only one. Behind Jinwoo, Quaratia starts to appear, saying, I'm guessing that means I can eat that human's body. I was always curious about what another monarch would taste like. Jinwoo sees that Scyllid is also there, and they surround Jinwoo as a notification tells him that the monarchs recognize him as an enemy. As all four of them are prepared to fight, their mana is seen from a distance, and Jinwoo summons all his soldiers to attack the enemy. As the soldiers charge towards the monarchs, Scyllid uses his breath to freeze all of them in place. He tells Jinwoo, your soldiers cannot move a single step within this prison. Quaratia tells Jinwoo, you should have at least left my children alone. It's been a while since I've seen them, after all. Looking at the soldiers, Scyllid comments, to think he was trying to use this kind of soldiers to get in our way. This is an act of belittling the other monarchs. On top of that, I don't think that the human was able to absorb the power of the Shadow Monarch fully. He tells Jinwoo that the Shadow Monarch was the greatest monarch, but they must not look down on the other monarch's strength. Jinwoo breaks the ice after hearing that, and seeing this, Scyllid gets angry. Jinwoo, pointing at him, says, I will definitely kill at least you. Chapter end here. For more, like, share, and subscribe.